Hello everyone, I am Sanjay Gupta. I welcome you on Sanjay Gupta Tech School. Today we have day 76 of Salesforce Learning Bootcamp, and we are learning Lightning Aura component development this week, right? Yesterday I just explained you the basics of Lightning component as well as Lightning Aura component. Today also we'll be discussing few more things related to Lightning Aura component. Okay, so let's wait for a couple of more minutes so that more folks can join. So that if you will be having any questions related to Aura component, so you can ask me live and I will be answering those questions. Okay, till the time more folks are joining, so let's quickly complete the beginner slide. So if you are watching videos for the first time on Sanjay Gupta Tech School YouTube channel and you want to know about me, this slide will help you to know what I have done, what I'm doing, and uh, my career related to Salesforce. And this I say in every session, like be consistent, do regular practice. Nowadays, every things I am explaining and demoing in the sessions, right? So just go through the session and whatever I am explaining in the session, so just practice that so that you can understand the concepts well, right? So consistency is the key, and do regular practice, and for that purpose, in the session tracker you can just find exercise sheet link. So it is available on the top. So if you click on the sheet link, so you will be having this exercise sheet, and here everything is available, right? So all the bootcamp related sessions, their links, their exercises, self practice questions, everything is available here, right? So soon I will be putting some questions related to Aura and LWC as well, so that you can practice. Okay, and join this Telegram group where lots of folks are available, and they are discussing their doubts on daily basis. So if you want to become part of this community, you can join. And we are in week 22 of this bootcamp, and this week I will be completing some topics related to Aura. So I won't be covering all the topics because we are not using Aura in the project development frequently in the companies. Just to give you the basic insight, like what Aura component is, how we can implement. So that's why we are doing these sessions. And from next week onwards, we'll be focusing dedicatedly on Lightning Web Components. Okay, so just follow Sanjay Gupta Tech School on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Telegram. And if you want to follow these social media platforms, so important links are available in the videos description. As in my all live sessions, I tell you, like, there will be lots of upcoming boot camps available. So from next month onwards, like I am planning to have few more boot camps. So from next week onwards, I will be sharing some insights about that. So one of my friend who is having good knowledge on Appian. So Appian is basically a low code development tool. So he will be delivering sessions on that as well. So different technologies I will be covering now, so that you can learn different things and decide, like, wherever there is any opportunity for job, so accordingly you can choose the particular stream. Okay, so with this note, let's jump on to the topic now. So today we need to understand few more concepts related to Lightning Aura component, and in that sequence, first we will be understanding how we can create attributes and expressions in Aura, right? So I will be explaining that in brief, because variable, whenever we learn anything related to coding, so we create variables so that we can store some values. But in case of Lightning Aura components, if you want to create a variable, so for that basically you need to create an attribute, right? So in my C programming bootcamp, I just explained the concept of constant, variable, and expressions like how we use them, then different operators, right? So those things that we learn in C programming or C++ or Java or Apex, so those things are available in Lightning components as well. And here variables are equivalent to attributes, and whatever attributes you use, if you want to display their values on the front end or UI, so that you can do with the help of expressions, right? Okay, so moving forward, now I'm jumping to the org, and here I am going to modify these components. So yesterday I created this component, and here in this component I will be doing some modification. So Lingraju is asking, your voice is low even for recorded. So you are talking about live recorded sessions, or recorded sessions that I uploaded till last year. So just clarify so that accordingly I can. So if something is not working with live, so I can just do something with the mic. And if it is happening for the recorded video, so that I cannot help. Okay, so moving forward, now I'm going to implement attributes and expressions for you so that you can understand how basically it works. So if you are using Aura component and you want to create a variable, so basically you need to use Aura colon attribute. Then you need to define a name for that variable. So let's say I am writing name as var1. So this variable name can be anything. You can put any name to this attribute. Then you need to define the type. So here I am putting string because I want to store string into this attribute. If you want to store different value, like you can store integer, you can store boolean value, you can store date, you can store ID. So different types are available. Even you can use S objects data type as well. And if you want to store default value, so here let's say I am putting test value. So this way, if you want to create a variable in Lightning Aura component, so this is the statement, right? So here variables basically are known as attributes. When we'll be learning Lightning Web Components, so there these attributes will be known as property, right? So in different platform, in different tool, or you can say in different framework, some terminologies basically change their names, but the meaning, overall meaning is same. So now here I am using a heading, and now I'm going to define an expression. So this way you need to write an expression in Aura. So here you can see we are using curly braces, then exclamation v dot var1. So var1 is the attribute name, then v stands for view, right? So in each Lightning Aura component, if you use any attribute, so you need to write it like this, v dot then attribute name, and before that you need to use exclamation sign, and then you can enclose it in curly braces. So I'm just saving this code and moving to demo app. So here you can see first Lightning component is already used. So I'm just going to preview. Okay, it is not showing here components attribute value. Let me just check what is the issue. Okay, so I did a mistake. Here you can see variable name is var1. So v is small. Here I used capital V. So I just need to change it to small v. I just saved it, and now I'm going to refresh, and here you can see now it is showing the value, right? So this you also need to remember in Aura, like whatever code you are implementing, it is basically case sensitive, right? So this you need to remember whenever you are implementing code in Lightning Aura component. So everything is case sensitive. If you write something in uppercase, so you need to use it in uppercase. If it is in lowercase, you need to use it in lowercase, right? So this way, if you want to use any attribute, so this is the way that you can implement in Lightning Aura, right? And whatever you implement here, that will be available on the UI only, and other files are supporting file. So today I am going to show you controller as well. So we'll be using controller, right? So I will show you, like, if we create a button and if we click on a button, so how on click of that button you can just execute a certain function that is defined with the help of controller, right? So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to implement the code in this second LC component. And yes, Jana, this Aura is case sensitive. So whatever code you write here in this component file or in this controller helper, so controller helper will be having JavaScript, so that is also case sensitive. So here when we talk about case sensitive, so this attribute thing is case sensitive. Rest of the thing, like these elements, these are case insensitive as well. Okay, so moving forward, now I'm going to create one more component for you. And in this component, what we'll be doing, we'll be creating a button as well. So when I will be clicking on the button, so some action will be performed, and accordingly result will be displayed. So I am creating an attribute, or a attribute name equals to message. Then type equals to string. Then here I am writing hello, then exclamation v dot message, right? So I hope now you are able to understand this statement. So here attribute name is message, type is string, and this is an expression. Through this we are just going to show the value of this message attribute on the UI. Now I told you, like in Lightning Aura component, other than HTML, we will be using Salesforce specific elements. So here we have this lightning colon button, and here I am using label, then click me. So this is the button label. So on button, this click me will be shown on the UI, and then I'm using an event that is on click, and here I am writing colon c dot handle click. Okay, so this is the label of the button. So if you remember, I explained you JavaScript. So in JavaScript also we created a button, and on click of that button I used to call a function, and that function I used to define in the in the JavaScript. So this is our component file, and here we are using this lightning button, so it will be rendered on the UI, and then whenever you click on the button, so this handle click function will be executed. Now this handle click function we need to define in the controller. So now you need to click on this controller, right? So automatically a file will be created. So its name will be second LC controller.js. So it is a controller file where the code which you will be writing, it will be specific to JavaScript. So here we are creating a function. This is the name of the function. So now if you want to define a function with handle click name, so here you will be writing that name. Okay, so whatever name you have given to your function in your component file, so the same name you need to use here, right? Now what we need to do, whenever I click on this button, so I just want to change the value of this message attribute. So that I'm going to do through JavaScript. So here I'm going to write component dot set v dot message comma button clicked. So this is the way, like we have two methods. First one is set and second one is get. So if you want to set some value from JavaScript to your components view file, so you can just use component.set, then name of the attribute, and then you can assign the value as per the data type, right? So this way you will be able to assign the values, and this attribute is basically declared here. So initially it will be showing nothing. So let me just show you some default value as well. So here I am writing test value. So initially it will be showing test value when I will be clicking on the button. So automatically this button clicked will be displayed in place of that text. So this way, like, you can link your components view and your controller function, right? So now what I'm going to do here in this application, I'm going to change it. So it will be second LC. I'm just saving this code and clicking on update preview, right? So here you can see it is showing hello, then test value, and click me is also available in the same line, right? So what we need to do, we need to change the lines. So here you can use BR. BR is for line change. If you want to change the line, or like you want to show your element in the new line, so you can use BR. BR basically stands for break line, and it is HTML element that you can use directly. And now if you refresh your page, so you will see your button in the new line. Yes, Jana, I will be showing you like from where you can learn about these components. So before that, just understand this, then I will show you the references through where you can just understand. So right now you can see it is showing hello test value. So this test value is coming from here. Default value is test value, that is shown here, and here hello is displayed as is, as plain text. This message attribute is showing this test value. Then we have a button whose label is click me. Right now, if I click on this button, so that JavaScript function will be executed and the result will be available here. So I'm clicking here and you can see this message is changed. Right, so this way those who are beginner and never practiced Lightning Aura component, so for them it will be beneficial, like how we can utilize these different files so that we can implement Lightning Aura component. Okay, so I hope you understood. Now I'm going to show you some references that you can refer. So if you search for Lightning component library, so there will be a Salesforce, official Salesforce library link, which is publicly available. So here you can see on left hand side we have component reference, and it is for both. So at top you will see it is for Lightning Web component. At top you can see it is for Lightning Web component. Here you can see different components related to Lightning Web component are available. If you scroll down, so we'll see Aura component, Aura related components, right? So right now I use Lightning button. So here you can see it is Lightning button, right? So if you want to use different kind of buttons, so here under Lightning you have a button, and here you will find different buttons available. So their sample code is also written at below. So we just need to use the variant if you want to use different styling, right? So what you can do, simply you can copy this code and you can use this code in your Aura component. So it will be available as is. And later on you can see with each button on click method or function is associated, so that you can implement in your JavaScript file. So here controller is also available. So this way, like here we have a alert, which is like getting which button you have clicked. So each button is basically calling handle click, right? Each button is calling handle click function. So what is happening through this event variable that we are using above, we are getting the source and we are getting the label. Like get source means button information will be received, and through .get v.label we will be receiving the label of the button, and that will be displayed here with you clicked, right? So this way lots of things are available. If we see the Lightning card, so yesterday if you remember, our text was not having white background. So if you want to have that, so you can use this Lightning card, right? So this is the Lightning card which will show you your result in the white background. So here in Lightning card we have header, footer, body, everything, new button. So you can customize whatever you don't need, you can just remove and you can customize this. So this way, lots of components are available. So as per the requirement, you need to search and you can utilize this. So basically, Lightning Aura component and Lightning Web component we use for UI design. So if you see, if I go back, so when I opened this page, so here you can see lots of components are available. So these kind of UI, if you want to create these kind of UI, so these are pre-implemented codes. You just need to click on them and you will have a reference, and that reference code you can use as is in your components, right? But you need to decide whether you are implementing Lightning Aura component or Lightning Web component. Okay. So let's say it is a radio group. So if I click, so this is the demo and this is the code. Now you just need to understand this code, like how it is working. So these are simple. So here if you see radio group, so name, label, options, values, type, and options and values are defined above. So you just need to relate. Everything is available here. Whole code you will be having, and as per your need, you will be customizing this code. And no one will be able to explain each and every component to you. So as per the requirement, you will be just exploring that thing and you will be using them. So everything that is available here, it is for implementing different kind of UI. Right, so I am just sharing this link with you so that you can just have a look, and when like this same link we'll be using for Lightning Web components also, right? So it is important for you. So whenever you work on front end development and you have Aura or LWC requirements, so this is a go-to link for me. Like whenever I implement any component, so I just explore this, and for content creation also I just explored this and learned something new. So here lots of components are available that you can understand. Okay, so with this let's jump to our next example. So here button click. So now what I'm going to do, I will be creating two buttons and I will show you how we can have two different functions in JavaScript. Okay, so I am first creating one more attribute. I'm creating one more attribute, so changing it to message1, message2. It is test value 1, test value 2, then hello message1, and I'm just copying and pasting it, right? So it will be message2. So this way different statements are available here, and for line break I am using BR. Here I am using HR as well. So HR is for horizontal rule. Okay, so these are two buttons, two different messages will be displayed, and this will be handle click 1, handle click 2. So naming you can decide as per the requirement, right? So it also depends like which kind of project you are implementing. So as per the project requirement also you can just decide names of your attributes, label of your button, function name. So everything depends on the requirement. Okay, so this way two buttons are created here. Now in JavaScript file, in the controller file, we need to create two functions as well, handle click 1 and handle click 2. So handle click is already there, so I'm just changing its name, copying it. Then here you need to put a comma and then you can put a function, right? So this way if you want to have two different functions, so you can implement. And here I am writing message 1, here I am writing message 2. So it is first button clicked and then second button clicked, right? So this way you can have any number of functions in your controller. And here we have this code. Now if I refresh, so you will see the results. Okay, so on UI, I hope you are able to see the results. At top you can see we have hello test value 1, then we have click me, then we have hello test value 2, and then click me. And this is horizontal rule. It is coming because of HR. Okay. Now what I am going to do, if I click on click me, so it is showing this. If I click on click me, it is showing this. Right. So this way two different functions are working. So if you click on particular button, so that particular function is getting executed. So now if you have any doubt, you can ask. So these are simple things, and maybe in real time scenario you will be implementing complex implementation. So I'm just waiting for any question if you have, so I will be able to answer. Otherwise I will be moving forward. So I don't see any question as of now. Yes, Jana, it is not getting auto refreshed. So whenever you change in the code, you need to refresh. So generally what will happen, whatever component we are implementing here, so we won't be testing it through this app. Instead, we'll be placing it on the page. Like yesterday, we placed our component on the home page. So we'll be placing our component on the home page or any other page. And if you refresh your page, so your component will be refreshed automatically. Right. And if you want to implement refresh functionality in your component, so that is also possible. Okay, so I think all good so far. So moving forward, now I am showing you one more thing. So right now what we are doing in the controller, we are just setting this value ourselves. Now my requirement is I just need to show the label of the button, right? So I'm changing the label of the buttons, first button and second button, right? So if I click on first button, so with hello, I need to see first button, right? If I click on second button, so after hello, I need to see hello button message. Now, how you can do that? So we'll be leveraging these three variables. So first, we are already using. So whenever something is coming from this component file to this controller file, so that information will be available into this component variable, right? So that component variable we are using here. Through that only we are just setting the values. Okay. Now, if you click on a button, so button related information, because button, if you click, so that is basically treated as an event. So that event information will be available in this event variable. Okay. So now how you will be utilizing that. So I'm just commenting this statement, and here I am creating a variable button, then event dot get source. So this is the another way, like you can set the value. So here what we are doing, we are utilizing this event variable. So if you click on a button, so all that information will be available into this event variable. So this functionality we will be using in Lightning Web Component as well. In Lightning Web Component also we will be clicking on the button and all the information will be available with this event variable. So through that event we are getting the source. That information will be available in the button. through button we are getting the label of the button, and then it will be assigned into message, and that message we are assigning here, right? So here also you can write it, but here what I will be doing, I will be combining couple of statements. So here I am just going to combine it like this. So this way also you can write. So event dot get source dot get v dot label, right? So instead of writing two statements, I just combined those two statements, and the result will be available into this message variable, and that message variable will be stored into this message too, and the result will be available on the UI. Okay, so I just saved it. Now if I refresh, so you can see button labels got changed. If I click on this button, so whatever is written on the button, it is reflecting here. If we click on this button, so it is reflecting here, right? So this way these two functions are working now. So I hope you understood the working, right? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to call a single function with both the buttons. I will be calling a single function with both the buttons. Okay, so what is happening here? So we have these two buttons, and you can see this first button is calling handle click, second button is also calling handle click, same function. So now I'm going to modify that code for you. So this is handle click 2, so I'm just modifying this, and just ignore this code. I am commenting all the code here, and we are not calling, so it won't be executing. So we have this handle click, it will be executing. Now here what I need to do, I just need to apply if condition so that I can check which button is actually clicked. So now I will be using conditional statement. Okay, so this conditional statement is simple. We use conditional statement in Apex, we use it in Java, C, C++, in almost all programming languages. We implement conditional statement, so that I'm going to use here. So I will be checking if message is equals to first button. So it means button 1 is clicked. Then else button 2 is clicked, right? And whatever message will be available in this message variable, so basically this MSG variable is compared with this first button text. If it is equals, it means MSG variable is having that first button message, so that message will be assigned into message 1 attribute. If not so, so else part will be executed. It means MSG variable is having basically second button as a message, and that will be assigned into message 2. So this way, through single method also you can fulfill your requirement. So you don't need to implement two separate functions. With a single function you will be able to accomplish this requirement, right? So this is kind of reusability that we are achieving from here. I am just refreshing the code. So if I click on first button, result is showing. If I click on second button, result is showing. So I modified the code. I'm calling handle click both the times. Still my code is working fine, right? So I hope this way you are able to understand like how we can implement complex JavaScript code in Aura. So this is just a beginning. As per the requirement, you need to modify the functionality, and step by step I hope you will be able to implement the components. Okay, so if you have any question you can ask. Otherwise I will be moving to explain one more feature for today. So we discussed about attributes and expressions. We discussed how to call JavaScript function, and this is important because same thing we need to do in the Lightning Web Component as well. So I'm just covering mostly that part which is available in Lightning Web Component as well, so that you have some understanding and you can compare like how things are working in Aura and how thing works in web components. Yes, Vishal, if you have something in label, so you just need to get that first, and then you can utilize that. So Jana, basically, this helper is supporting for controller. So how you can utilize it? So instead of writing this code here, what you can do, you can just shift this code in the helper, right? So from here, I'm just cutting this code and pasting it here, and here I am using component and event. So this is my helper where I implemented the code. Now this is my controller. So from here I will be calling the helper function. So helper dot, then this is helper method. So I'm going to call it, then I need to pass component dot event. So this way. So what you can do, right? So here we are calling. So if you want to reuse this code, if you want to reuse this code in different functions, like you want to call the same function in here as well. If you want to call same function here as well, so that can be done with the helper only. So if you want to call one method more than one places, so what you can do, just implement helper, implement the code there, and that helper code you can call anywhere in the controller functions, and those controller functions basically you will be calling in the component. So this way, basically this is three separate files. Helper is also JavaScript file. So in complex implementations we prefer helper as well, but in simple implementation we write the code in helper only. So you can relate like in trigger, what we did in trigger, we just call the method, and trigger handler will be having the definition. So it is kind of same. Controller is like calling the method, and helper is having the definition. Okay, so this way you will be able to implement the components. Yes, Anita, I will be updating that exercise sheet. There you will be having some complex scenarios so that you can practice and discuss each other in the Telegram group. Right, so right now I'm just explaining the basics of Aura, and will be giving you some exercises as well. No, we cannot use helper in another component. So whatever files you see here, those files we can use in this component only. If you want to share something, like if you want to share the values or methods you want to call, so you need to implement parent-child relationship for that. You need to implement parent-child relationship for that, and we have different techniques through that. You can call method of parent into child or method of child into parent. But if you have two independent components, then that is not possible. Yes, Arun, whatever I am teaching, these are like basic building blocks. If you want to become expert, so you need to level up yourself, and you need to implement complex problems. So for Aura and LWC, I will be sharing some complex problems. So I will be updating our exercise sheet where you will find some complex problem, and while implementing those, you will experience like you are using HTML, CSS and JavaScript as well. Okay, so let me first explain the concepts, and then you can just focus on the practice. Okay, so I have one more concept that I need to explain to you. So it is basically bounded versus unbounded expressions. So with this topic, we'll be discussing about parent-child component relationship. So basically, with the help of Aura, we'll be binding the data, right? So here, if you want to bind the data between two components, so there should be one relationship available. So we can add a component in markup of another component. So the component which will be adding the markup the component which will be adding any other component in its markup. So that will be known as container component, or you can say parent component. And we can use an expression to initialize attribute values in the component based on attribute values of the container component. So what does it mean? Like from parent component, you can pass the values to child, and through child you can just update those parent component attributes, right? So there will be kind of bounded expression. If you change value of attribute in parent, so it will be updated automatically in the child. If you update child, so parent will be updated automatically, right? So there are two form of expression syntax for that. So we have those as unbounded expression and bounded expression. So unbounded, we will be using hash. So expression I already explained to you. In curly braces, we need to write attribute like exclamation v dot. So in place of exclamation, we'll be using hash. And if you use exclamation, so it will be considered as bounded expression. But remember, if you are having parent-child relationship, then only you will see that bounded, unbounded behavior. Okay, so for that, right now we need to implement two components. So I will be implementing one parent component, and then we'll be implementing child component. Okay, so I'm just closing all these files, creating new component, and naming it as child data. Clicking on submit, so child component is getting created. Here I am going to create an attribute, naming it as child variable, and type is string. Now if you want to show child values, so you need to write the statement. So I hope this is clear to everyone. We created an attribute, we are showing its value. Then here we are having lightning button, label equals to update child variable, and then I will be calling a function. So this is the name of the function, update child variable. Okay, so what will happen whenever you will be clicking on this button? So on click of the button, function that you need to define in your JavaScript will be executed, and that JavaScript function will be updating its value. So at right hand side, I am clicking on controller. So here I need to define this function name. So I am pasting it here. Now I am writing component.set v dot child variable, and here you can put some values. Okay, so this is our child component. Now we need to implement a parent component as well, and in that parent component I will be calling this child component. Okay, so I am going to create one more component, naming it as parent data. Now here I am creating one attribute. So this attribute is basically for parent. So naming it as parent variable, type is string, and here I am setting a default value as well. Default value is parent value. Okay, so this way attribute is created. Now I'm just showing parent value. So v dot parent var, so parent variable will be displayed. Then we just need to create a lightning button, label equals to update parent variable, and then on click we need to call a function. And here you can see whenever we are calling a function, so we need to write c dot because this function will be defined in controller. So that's why c dot. This parent variable is an attribute. It is available in this view file. That's why it is v dot. Okay, so this way this parent component code is implemented. Now here I'm going to call the child component. So I'm going to show you how we can call the child component. So calling child component. So this is a comment. And after this, I'm going to write C colon child data. Then in child variable. So in child component, we have a variable named as child variable. So here I'm going to pass the value of my parent attribute. So understand this carefully. It is different, and this concept we'll be using in LWC as well. So C is the namespace. Child data is the child component. So by default, all the components are stored in C namespace. So that's why you need to write C colon, then name of the child component, then its variable. So here we have this variable, which is kind of attribute here. Name is child variable. It is not having any value. So what will happen? This parent var attributes value will be assigned into this child var. And here we are using hash. Okay, so let's see what will happen. But before that, I am going to implement the controller of parent. So here I am copying this name and putting it here. Okay, so now what we need to do, we just need to set the value of the parent attribute. Right, so this way our code is implemented. And if you see any doubt at any line number, so what you can do, you can just write child component and line number and parent component and line number. If you have any doubt, I can explain it again. Now what I need to do, parent component I need to place here. So if you use parent component, automatically child component will be rendered on the UI. So here you can see all the results are available, but in same line. So now we need to customize this. We need to use line breaks, and we can use HR as well, so that we'll be having horizontal rule. So now I'm going to modify that so we can do some UI changes. So what is happening? So let's do it here. So first of all, child, then parent. So here I'm using BR tag. Here I am using BR tag, and in child component here I am using, right? So this way it will be divided, and child, so here I am using HR tag as well for horizontal rule. So first child component will be rendered, and then parent information will be rendered. So if I refresh, so you will see the changes. So here you can see this is child component's result, this is parent component's result, and both child value attribute, parent value attribute, both are showing same value. So how it is happening? The value which is available in this parent value, that is parent value, default value, is going to this attribute as well. So this parent var attribute is having already this value, parent value. It will go to child as well, so both will be having same values. Now see it carefully. If I click on this button, so child attribute is getting updated. If I click on this button, so only parent attribute is getting updated. Okay, so there is no relation between them. So that's why it is known as unbounded relationship. This is unbounded relationship. So now you just need to read this. In unbounded expression, we use this hash. If you pass data from parent to child, so we use this hash with that. Now any change to the value of the child attribute in the child does not affect the parent attribute in parent, and vice versa. So if you change the value of child attribute, parent won't be updated. If you update parent attribute, child won't be updated. That is happening here. Now you will say, if we want to do that, is it possible? So answer will be yes. For that we need to implement bounded expression. So in case of bounded expression, you will be using this exclamation sign, and then it will happen. So now I'm going to show you. So where you need to change, we need to change at line number 6 only. So this hash you need to change to exclamation. Now I am refreshing the page again. So here we see default values. If I click on update child value, so see carefully, both are updated. Here also update child value, here also update child attribute. If I click on update parent var, so it will be updating both. Right, so this way you can see both are having some relationship. So this is bounded expression. Okay, so now if you have any doubt, so please raise your question so that I can answer. So Jana is asking, please explain exclamation and hash when to use. So like if you have two components, both are connected, and if you want to apply changes, like from child component, if you are changing, you want to throw that value to parent component as well. So then you will be using exclamation. But if you don't want to share the values, then you can use hash. So Madhu Mohan, whatever exercises I will be sharing with you, so you can practice, and if you get stuck somewhere, so you can ask for help in the Telegram group. So Ashutosh is asking to explain it one more time. So Ashutosh, basically what is happening here, we created a child component where one attribute is available. We are showing that attribute, and we created a button. On click of that button, this function will be executed, and which is available in the controller. So this controller is basically updating the child attribute. Okay. Now in the parent component, we did the same implementation. We have an attribute. We are showing its value. We are having a button. Through that button click, this parent var attribute will be updated. But here we are calling the child component, and from this we are passing the parent value into child. Right now, if you use exclamation, so whenever you update parent var, so child var will be updated. If you update child var, so parent var will be updated. But if you use hash, so that change won't be effective. So this is the thing that I demoed in this session. So Rajesh, helper.js basically we use to support controller, and renderer.js we'll be using if you want to override default rendering. So let's say whenever I refresh the page, so page is rendering on the UI. After this refresh, or whenever you access any link, so basically your page is rendering, right? On load, or you can say rendering. So if you want to override and you want to implement your own rendering thing, so here you can implement that code. Yes, Jana, so you can see the controller portion. And Anita, yes, these are the basic concepts whenever you work on real-time project. So these are the basic building blocks. With the help of these, you will be implementing complex solutions. So I will be putting some exercises so that you can create some lightning components, and you can place those lightning components on the UI. And tomorrow I will be explaining you how we can connect our lightning component with Apex. So we can retrieve Apex data, and we can show that on lightning components as well. Okay, so I will be explaining a little bit on Aura, because anyhow we just need to focus more on lightning web component. So I will save your energy learning lightning Aura component. So this I am just explaining so that you know how lightning Aura component is actually implemented, So with 2 to 3 sessions, it will be uh, like easy for you to understand the working. You don't need to deep dive in Aura component. So whatever practice thoroughly we will be doing, that we will be doing for Lightning Web component only. Okay, so for Lightning Aura component, I will give you small exercises, but for Lightning Web component, there will be proper exercises in each session that I will give for you, and you can practice that. Yes, Go Gautami, we can call the parent from child as well. So in that case, that child will become the parent. If you do the reverse, so that calling component will become the parent. So don't go with the name. In real time, we won't be using child and parent with the component name. This I used for demonstration purpose. So the component, whichever is calling the other component, will become the container or parent component. Okay, so if you have more questions, let me know. I am done with the session. So tomorrow I will be having one more session on this, and from next week onwards, we'll be starting Lightning Web Component implementation. So that will be easy and exciting as well, because that Lightning Web Component implementation is used in real time nowadays. So this is it for you for today. Thank you so much for joining today's session. See you tomorrow, same time. Thank you. Bye everyone. See ya.